Yo, so I had to share this with you guys. I just had a conversation with one of my greatest friends from out of Chicago. His name is Aaron. If you went to Southern, then y'all know him as Buds. He used to smoke a lot of weed. But anyway, man, we had one of the dopest conversations, and I said I had to share this with Facebook Live. We were having the conversation about how I was telling him how I believe that one of the reasons why black people suffer the way that they do is because we were blessed to be the first children of God on this earth, at least. In that land in abundance, the sun, food, beautiful women, the highest level of science and math, all of these things we were born with. So we're sort of like the spoiled child. We are the reflection of God, and everyone else knows this but us. And it's sort of like if you think about Caucasian people, they were born in cold climates, less sun, less melanin, less food. They literally had to be aggressive about getting the things that we were naturally born with. Like, think about resources, think about weather, think about all of these different things. And I told him I remember reading this book when he said even if you look at sports, most of the people who rise to be the greatest people in sports are usually people who had the least amount of things when they were young. If you look at Michael Jordan being cut when he was in high school, whatever the case may be. I mean, a great example of that is like a Steph Curry. I even look at certain people in sports who are great but really can't push themselves to that next level, in most cases because they were so naturally talented that they don't have what we call in Mississippi that dog. I don't want to get into the sports thing, but there's some people in sports that people think are the greatest, and I don't think that they're much. I think that they're physical phenomenons, but they don't really have the mental capability of pushing to that next level because they never had to struggle. They never had to work. So he said something that was so dope, and initially it fucked me up, and I didn't want to admit that he may be right. He said, David Banner, we almost have to revert back. We not really revert back because we never were. We almost have to regress to where they started. Everything must be stripped from us so that natural cycle can take place. As long as we are spoiled, as long as we, like, I gave him the example of this. I told him, I said, have you noticed that we are people of the sun? But now if you look at most black people, especially in America, they stay in a dark, cold climate under some air conditioning trying to run away from the sun. And I think he right. Like, it's like almost like the transition that we see black people going through that we think is so negative and so lowly. It's almost like we have to hit the bottom in order to know that we have to struggle and fight to get that place back in God's light. It's almost like we have to lose all of those things that we were born with, all of those great things that we have in order to want it. It's like your first girlfriend being the most beautiful person in the world. You end up taking that for granted until she's gone. And then you have to fight back to get something on that level. And I was like, damn, that shit is dope. Then he also said something else that was cold. He was like, who can help God? He was like, if you think about it, even if someone wanted to help God, how could you even fathom the problems that a God or God has? So if we are truly God's children, no one else can help us. He said the hand that you're looking for to help you is at the end of your arm. And I was like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. So like, although we fight against this process, these people who try to oppress us are only here to push us into our God's nature. They're only here to make us great. Because apparently we wouldn't have done it on our own. Like I'm literally shopping. Like, because I have so many in February, I'm outside shopping. Like, I had to sit down and talk to y'all. Like, he made me take a motherfucking seat. I was like, yo. Because we're out here, we're fighting. We're fighting to push ourselves. But he told me, he was like, it's just like water. You know, you start as water. You evaporate. You go back to the clouds. It's like you almost have to go through this process in order to become water again. And I was like, damn, dude. And as much as we want to fight the process, it may be the natural process of life. We were the first. So, of course, because we were born in the time that we were born in, we just happen to be born in the time where we're in the bad part of the cycle. But like, who really knows if we might be the same group of people doing this shit over and over again? Who really knows? You know what I'm saying? Well, that's it. That's all I had to tell y'all. That's it. It ain't that bad. Y'all see my hair? I didn't sleep in my house last night. I was coming back from Virginia. And Virginia was so dope. Y'all, let me tell y'all something that was so fucking awesome. When I spoke in Virginia yesterday, it was so many people that they had to have, what do they call in the Christian churches? An overflow room. They had to have 2 overflow rooms. I felt like I was a Baptist preacher. Pastor Green in this jut, man. Like, they literally had to have an overflow room, and, you know, they had to have a camera so people in the other rooms and in the overflow rooms could get the message, man. And that's humbling to know that, you know, that people are wanting to learn something different. And I really, really appreciate y'all. I'm still on the high from LA, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, man. That's it, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And listen to me, okay? I know y'all have been very patient with me and the God Box and me constantly pushing the God Box back. But during my lecture when I was in Virginia, I was telling them, you know, you tell me what's healthy about microwave food. I'm not a microwave artist. It takes time to be great. The God Box album is one of the greatest hip-hop albums ever. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. But it takes time, and I crafted it. Like, even the order of the songs. I know most people listen to their music on their iPods, so like the order of the album really don't matter as much in this age, but it does to me. You know, I spent stacks on mastering my album. Like, I went to one of the greatest mastering plants, you know, in the United States, and they sound just didn't fit the God Box. It wasn't that they were not great. I didn't mean, you know, no disrespect, but I paid them all their money, and I went and got my stuff mastered because they mastered my album like it was a rap album. And I was telling them, like, I paid for an orchestra on my album. I don't want this shit to just sound like no fucking rap album with no whole bunch of bass. And like, y'all, I literally, you know, I was telling people, like, on my Uzi, The dude who scored The Passion of the Christ, Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, actually did that arrangement at the end. That ain't no fucking sample. So like when people hear this album, like I hope that they don't think that just some samples and some shit like this. These are live fucking people playing instruments the way that our family did. This shit took time. And this ain't no label. Like I spent my own money. Everybody on my album got paid. You know? So it's like, you know, people talk about they want stuff now. I want the album now. But in most cases, they don't understand what it takes to bake the cake. You feel me? So like, I mix my albums. I master my albums. You know, when people tell me how great I am, I tell them I am only as great as the people who have assisted me. You know, right at the end of my album, CeeLo Green came in. Black Thought came in from the Roots and did his motherfucking thing. Like, if I would have rushed the album, I wouldn't have been able to get them type of blessings, you know? And I just want y'all to know that I'm not pushing this shit back to play. But let me tell y'all what's funny. Regina, who was the album coordinator for Outkast and so many different other people, I had her to pick the date for me, and she decided May 19th, which was Malcolm's birthday. And, you know, Malcolm is one of the people who put me on this path that brought me to the God Box. I think he was probably the most influential person as it pertains to information. But what's funny was that's the same day that the album was supposed to come out initially. So we didn't have to redo the mixtape. So I really appreciate y'all and all the people who have pre-ordered the album. Like, it's just been a dope process. And, you know, I spoke in Virginia for about 10 minutes about how much I appreciate them for being patient with me and allowing me to grow. You know, one of the companies that booked me to speak said that, you know, the God Box lecture series is helping to revitalize, you know, the black lecture circuit. And whether that's true or not, I am proud to put people's asses in the seat. Like I tell people all the time, if you can get black folks to sit still for an hour without an 808, without drums and a whole bunch of hollering and shit, it's something special. So I thank y'all for doing that. And Swagger Magazine, I appreciate y'all, you know, for blessing me with the cover. I haven't read the whole article, but I'm really impressed to see that you said that you wasn't gonna put out the magazine until I was on the cover. I thank you, and I appreciate you. Yo, if y'all get an opportunity, The Accountant, the movie, that shit dope as fuck. I ain't got nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but it's dope. I love y'all. Y'all be safe. Be careful. I love y'all. Bye-bye.